All right. Hi, Virginia. Hello, everybody. Oh, all right. I might end up having to get more people in the waiting room, from the waiting room. Okay. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and get started because I do not want to waste any time on introducing these fabulous women that we have tonight. Thank you everybody for attending. First of all, this is our first Women in Science and Engineering speaker series via Zoom. So I appreciate your willingness to join another Zoom meeting. I get that the fatigue is real. So I thank you guys for taking the time to do that. A couple of things I wanted to kick off before we actually talk to these women. We will definitely have time for questions. And our ladies have a lot of knowledge and perspective and background that we want them to share. So if you do have questions, if you could please put them in the chat. The first thing we want to do is make sure that everybody's questions get answered, but we also want to keep the sound control down a little bit so that we can just ensure a more positive and easier to hear presentations. The night's going to start off with a couple of introductions. Again, we have three wonderful women here tonight to talk about their experiences, all from various backgrounds, which is one of the things we pride ourselves on in this program. And we have our WISE speaker series 4 times a year. And usually from different women from different backgrounds, they all kind of end up having interconnectedness because these women find this time so wonderful and valuable to share their experiences that they end up sharing the fact that we have this speaker series to their friends. So we always kind of have some fun little interconnectedness that happens because of this. So without further ado, I have a couple of things that I want to show you guys first, and then I'm going to give it to the women to give a little more perspective on their background. So let me just share my screen real quick. All right. So again, welcome to tonight. We really appreciate you being here and joining us for this evening. Our speakers tonight are Karen Horton, who is a board-certified plastic surgeon, and we'll be talking about her profession and the things that she does. Hannah Sicker, who is the Director of Security and Compliance at Thrive Global, who has a lot of really good stories based on just what she has given us for these slides. And Kristy Lee, who is our Senior Information Security Analyst at eHealth. So I'm going to turn it over and have Dr. Karen Horton talk first. And Karen, you just let me know when to go to the next slide.
Okay, sounds good. So welcome everybody. I am talking to you from my office, and excuse the light shining up the building across the way right now. So if I'm moving out of the light, it's not you. So I'm a board certified plastic surgeon. I am originally from Toronto, Canada, and my practice focuses on women, although I do treat some men. I perform both cosmetic surgery that you guys probably have heard all about, liposuction, tummy tucks, breast augmentations, etc. But I also offer women various types of breast cancer reconstruction, and I've been in practice since 2006. Interestingly, I did not want to be a surgeon when I was growing up. I'm a surgeon's daughter. My dad was a breast cancer surgeon at the University of Toronto, and I did not want to be a surgeon like him because I really didn't know that much about it. All I knew is he worked really hard. I didn't see him very often. When he was home, he was really grumpy, and it was just kind of a mystery. And I knew what he did was really important. He did offer for me to go into the operating room with him when I was 16, and I thought, oh my God, that's so boring. So I wasn't interested. But I ended up following my forte in school, which was math and science. You know, my favorite subjects were the 3 sciences, algebra and geometry, calculus and finite math, and art. And amazingly, plastic surgery has allowed me to combine all of my interests, art, science, math, and using my brain, using my hands, using my creativity, and my wanting to help people with their body image and self-esteem in such an amazing way that really, if I wasn't a plastic surgeon, I'm not sure what I would do, maybe be a teacher. Everyone in my family is really into science. My mom was a PhD in biochemistry before I was born. I think she was the first female graduate at the University of Toronto in the department. I have two younger sisters. One is a genetic counselor and the other one is in environmental stuff. I'm not really sure what she does. And I'm just so happy to share with you a little bit about my history and what I do every day. I am very pro women. You know, I was raised in a family where my mom told me when I was very young, you can do anything you want in life. You can be anything you want except for a daddy. Although nowadays, maybe you could be a daddy with all the transgender stuff going on. But I never really considered gender to be a factor in deciding what I wanted to do. And so I really love treating women, caring for women, and we can go to the next slide. I have an all-women team in the office. So when I joined my office, there was two other women plastic surgeons, and actually the name of the practice was Women's Plastic Surgery. And everyone in the office has been there longer than me, except for our front desk and our nurse practitioner, who's now been with me for 5 or 6 years. It really takes a team to take care of patients. And it doesn't matter whether I'm removing a mole off somebody's face or doing liposuction or a mommy makeover or doing a breast cancer reconstruction, because every single woman, every single team member in the office serves a really vital role. And we're really all there to help take care of patients. From Mary, who's my patient coordinator, who's just to the right to me, Nurse Mary, who's in the middle, she does a lot of the preoperative teaching, Emily, who's one over, she does all of the Botox and fillers and non-surgical cosmetic treatments, and then Sharon on the far right, she's the back office biller. We also have a front desk and we have another helper, and really I tell patients we are all spokes in the wheel, and without everybody working together, we couldn't take care of patients as effectively. And so I do have patients who come from all over the United States for some of my breast cancer reconstruction techniques. And I'm not only a plastic surgeon and a reconstructive surgeon, I also do reconstructive microsurgery. And microsurgery involves reattaching blood vessels. And so say you cut off all your fingers, you would come to a microsurgeon and they would very painstakingly sew together the arteries, the tendons, the nerves, the blood vessels, so that things work again. I don't do hand surgery anymore, but I do one type of breast cancer reconstruction where we basically take skin and fat from the lower belly, the same tissue we would throw away in a tummy tuck, but we isolate that block of tissue with an artery going into it and a couple of veins draining it. We cut the blood supply and we move it free in the air, and up here in the chest, we find an artery and a vein to connect to. We have to remove a little piece of rib cartilage, and under the microscope, we sew together artery and vein, one here, and an extra vein here in the armpit. So we're basically doing a transplant from one part of a woman's body to another part of her body. And so it has advantages in that you don't need an implant. We don't worry about scar tissue forming and infection. And we're basically taking an area of excess fat where no woman wants fat in that area and making a new breast for a woman who has breast cancer. So what I do is so amazing. If we have time later, I can share some before and after photos if you're interested, but it's awesome. And I wake up every morning so excited to get up and go to work. I've never, been dragging in the morning and not wanted to get up and help people. So I would do it all over again.
Oh, I just love that. Thank you. All right, Hannah, I am gonna turn it over to you.
Well, hello everyone. It's really good to go after Karen because she's so amazing, and definitely my job is not that exciting the same way hers. But I have fun. I have a lot of fun. You will see. So the same thing happened. I did start medical school, but on my first 2-3 weeks, I will faint, and I'm like, no. And so, but my dad had a very strict rules. You only can study medical. And then it's after a lot of negotiation, he said, the lowest I can go is engineering. It's I'll go with it. That's not what I wanted to study, just let you know that, but I didn't have a choice. I love traveling. So I traveled 16 countries in the last 2 years. the reason I'm going into this, because being in science, being in engineering does not mean you're going to be not cool or like boring person, right? Actually, we're very cool people. We love outdoor stuff. And then that's a really good story for you. Do you know The Rock, all of you? I'm sure you know him. So back in 2000, Southwest, they used to have these two seats in the front against each other. So you can see the one sitting next to you. And I was on a business trip, and this big, huge two guys, they came and they sat across from me. And his knee was touching my knee. So I would say, excuse me, you're too big. Can you please change your seat? And so the woman with me, we were on business trip, she's like kicking me, and she's like, stop it, this is The Rock. I'm like, I don't know who's The Rock. You know, I'm a foreigner. Like that time I was in the US only for like 3 years. And so he was really polite. His bodyguard is like, and he's like, no, it's okay. So he left. And then I came home, I'm telling my husband, and he's like, well, let me show you who this guy. So he does remember me, by the way, because it was interesting that someone really did not know him. So I love that story about him. Then you will see something next. It's about purple hair. I did have purple hair for a year. So while Karen, she's amazing, and she helps a lot of women with cancer. I'm the one who had the cancer 3 years ago, so I am a fighter. You know, it's being in science, it makes you stronger. So when you really have something bad in life, the way how you handle it, you get like stronger and stronger. So I'm really proud of that. The best one I'm really proud of is I love mentoring, and Kristy knows that about me. I mentor so many, like I meet women, I've never met them before. It could be sometimes, believe it or not, like on a trip or even at Safeway. If I see someone really smart and they have it, I like jumps like, hey, have you thought about cybersecurity? And then I will mentor them. 90% of the time I get really successful at this, 10% it doesn't hit. So that's who I am, and we can move to the next pictures, the next slide. So here's my journey. So I told you I love really traveling. So I get my family, because family is a great, that even I have a picture when I was a little, and if you can see, I was reading. So we're all smart. We just have to figure out that was our skills. And then really, really my passion, it is about mentoring. If you look all these pictures, you see how many women there are in these pictures. The picture on the left, this is when I had my cancer. I was getting my chemo. And even while I was taking my chemo, I was working and I was on a conference calls. And that's what I love about my job. In worst case scenario, you can work from home. You can be productive. You don't have to sit in the corner and feel sorry about yourself. So this is who I am. And thank you for having me today. Now we can go to Kristy.
Thanks, Hannah. The one thing I want to mention about this is I can't believe The Rock actually had a bodyguard or needed a bodyguard for as big of a man as he is.
He was bigger than him, by the way. And the best of it, he had this monkey, stuffy, like a stuffy monkey toy, whatever. And I tried to buy it from him, but he won't sell it to me. But that's what
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Hannah, for the introduction. And Kristy, I'm gonna give it over to you now.
Oh wow, how do I beat this two women? So hi everybody, my name is Kristy. I'm a cybersecurity analyst over at eHealth. So I didn't start it out as a cybersecurity analyst. My path to getting into the cybersecurity was definitely not common. I graduated from college with a major in biosciences. That's because, I'm Asian, and having Asian parents means either you become an engineer or a doctor, right? So I have a brother. So my brother becomes a civil engineer, of course, and I become lost and trying to figure out what I want to do. So I tried to get into medical school. Then I'm like, I volunteer at the hospital, Kaiser Hospital. I'm like, no, this is too depressing. So I said, maybe let's go to pharmacy school. And then, you see the pattern. And later I decided, I'm like, oh, forget school. I don't want to continue anymore. This is like, I want to actually find my passion and what I like. So it's in the meantime, I decided to work for BioMarine is located in Marine. I don't know if you guys know. So that's where I started my, I guess, bioscience degree related to field. But I have always been drawn to technology and hacking. So I decided to change my career. So one of the things when I started noticing about my passion is, I'm not sure if you guys knows about sneaker apps. That's pretty much a Nike app that where they drop all the new sneakers out in certain period of time. It's limited edition. So what I trying to do was like trying to hack it, trying to build like a script that, you know, like a bot that scrape the site, and then pretty much at 7 a.m. when the sneaker drop, I will like, you know, write the script and then trying to get at least trying to win a sneaker. But if anybody of you guys knows what that app is about, it's very hard to get a sneakers because it's, you know, it's limited edition. So, but yeah, you try, but it was unsuccessful. So that was where it started all with my cybersecurity and being a hacker, being trying to understand what's behind a computer and stuff like that. So yeah, from there it took off, and I decided to take a chance and trying to look for a mentor, and somehow I sneak into Hannah's LinkedIn profile and trying to get the mentorship from her. That's why I have to start, right? You have to find yourself. The journey is not easy. It requires a lot of hard work, and it wasn't easy because I definitely don't have the educational background in computer science, but I do have the passion and curiosity. So that's how I got into, you know, cybersecurity, getting a mentoring from one of my mentors was Hannah. So she gave me the tools that I need to get into cybersecurity career, and here I am. So I'm loving it, and every day at my job, I do a lot of white hacking and yeah, investigation. So here I am. I'm happy to be here. So give you a different background of
White hacking, not, it's a white hat, okay?
White hacker.
You don't want the FBI knocking on your door.
Although I might have done something with the keylogger, so.
What's a white hacker?
It's pretty much, you know, you do white hacking to improve the computer security. So you don't do anything bad, or you don't go and do any, like, you know, steal people's credit card, right? So that's the difference between white hacking and black hackers and white hackers.
It's an authorized activities. So a company that will hire you, pay you money so you can do the hacking on their systems to see how vulnerable it is. But they pay you, and you have a contract that you have the right to do that, but you don't disclose the information when you gather it. A black hacking is where you get this information and you sell it. The gray hacking is where you work during the day as a white hacker, and then at the night you go and you do black hack.
Like gray hacking the sneaker app. So.
Wow, you're the first hacker I've ever met.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You need like a code name, Kristy.
Yeah, that I do have it.
Well, the one thing that I love about the commonality that the three of you share is that you kind of went into your careers not wanting to conform to what family wanted you to do, or what you felt like you needed to do, or were obligated to do, and you took your passions for things and made a career out of it. And you took, you know, Dr. Horton, you took the love of your art, of being able to use your hands and to make something into it that really helps women is fascinating. And Hannah and Kristy, the fact that both of you went, I'm not going to do what my parents want me to do. I'm not going to do what my family, you know, what the family lineage of work is supposed to be. I'm going to blaze my own trail and do my own thing. And you're spreading that with the rest of, you know, the people that you meet. And that's really cool to hear. I'm
sorry, if you have passion for what you do, it feels like you're not working, you know, so you're pretty much playing around. So that's what I guess we do. We all have that.
True.
I agree with that. I think that if you find something where you're passionate about, and you may not know what it is, like before I went to medical school, I was in a pre-med program, and I was totally turned off by all my fellow students. They were so competitive. This was before the internet, before email, and the teacher would announce our assignment, and everyone would like get up and like take off. And I was sitting there, I'm like, where did everybody go? And my friend is like, oh, they all went to the library to take out all the books. And I'm like, they didn't wait till the end of the lecture. So of course, the next day I go to the library, I start looking for books, and every single book on the subject was gone. And I was like, what's up with that? And people were so competitive. They took out all the books. So people like me that didn't like run, out right away had no resources. It was crazy. So I was turned off from medicine because I didn't want to be one of those people. I actually did a master's in cancer research first, and I worked in the lab for 2 years on doing molecular biology, DNA stuff that you could do my research now in like a minute, pressing a button on a machine. But I think trying different things, I thought, oh, sure, I'll be a researcher. It'll be interesting. My mom did research on rats. I hated it. It was so awful. I hated getting up in the morning. That's why I say I never have trouble getting up now. I would sleep in, and I spent more time volunteering with women who had eating disorders and working at the bar, waitressing and bartending and interacting with people that I did some self-reflection, and I'm like, I'm not made to work in a lab. I did not enjoy it, but I finished my master's, and even my master's supervisor pulled me aside like a month or two in. He's like, Karen, you're not really happy here, are you? And I'm like, oh, no, I'm fine. He's like, no. He's like, are you going to finish? I'm like, yes, I'll finish. And I said, I'm thinking about going to medical school. I just needed to find my own path. And when I got into medical school, again, I thought I didn't want to be a surgeon. I thought, well, I've always worked with kids. I was a camp counselor and swimming instructor. I'll try pediatrics. That'll be fun. I'll work with kids. And I learned I didn't like that either. I like to get my hands dirty. I like to, use my hands and do procedures. So it took me a while. I didn't really know what I wanted to do until I was 25. And, other people halfway through their career, they make changes. So it's not like you pick a path and you're stuck on that path. And I think if you try different things, you'll learn what you like. I also thought about architecture in high school. So my mom had me hang out with an architect firm for a day, and that was really boring too. So I think that the main message is find your passion and take your time. And then if you're lucky enough to have a mentor like Kristy had Hannah, you're golden. I act as a mentor for students, and I have had some high school students come and shadow me for a half day. That's an open invitation. I've had some of my patients' daughters come and do like summer internships, and they ended up going to medical school, and they learned they did not like surgery, but they're happy that they learned about it. Anyway, I didn't have a mentor growing up that was female. And so I think it's so important that we give back, because I want to be that mentor for someone else.
Yes, agreed. And you bring up a good point in that notion of it's okay to go down a path and not like it. Like, you don't have to continue. You can veer to a different position and do other things as you find that journey of figuring out what your passion is and what you're looking for and what's going to get you up in the morning, for sure.
And don't feel down if you don't find your passion right away. It is so normal. Like, if you really know what your passion, that's amazing. You really need to be a speaker, and I would love to have you to speak in one of the events, because we have a monthly event about mentorship for a lot of professional in cybersecurity or people they want to get into cybersecurity. It might take a long time. Always when I work with my mentees, I don't tell them what to do. I always ask the questions so I can get deep into, so they can actually tell themselves what they want. I don't like to talk about my son because he will kill me after this event. But he's still looking for his passion, and I don't force him to find his passion, because you don't know. Every day it can change. What I can advise you is don't give up. And every time you fail, it's the day where you actually accomplish something. In reality, and don't tell the principal I say that, but like my son, when he comes and all has a grade A, I'm like, why? Like, try to get a B, try to get a C, so you can understand what it means to get an A. But always having an A, kind of like, yeah, the bar is here, and now you don't understand. To fail, that is your key for success. I always told my team, I had a very, very large team, like 43 people. The people who did not fail, I was concerned about them. The people who were failing, I love them, because when they fail is when they learn more and they find themselves better. So that's the only advice I will give you guys. Be very happy when you fail and get a B.
It's okay to fail. I have my list of questions here that I would love to try to get to. I think that, you know, the first one, you guys have all kind of touched on, but I think I would love to kind of get a little more depth onto, you know, who was that person that inspired you to kind of take that leap and take that step to trying to find what you're passionate about to get you to where you are today? Who was that person that you may have turned to, you know, multiple times to say, I'm stuck, or I failed, or I'm doing great and this is amazing and I have you to thank for that? You know, whoever wants to start first, you guys can go there with that inspirational person.
Go ahead, Karen.
Okay, I'll go first. So I think there was several people, and I'm lucky enough that they were in my family. So I mentioned my mom. Again, I was the oldest of 3 girls, and I was never made to feel female until 4th year medical school. Somebody reminded me I was female. Until then, I just thought I'm a student. I'm learning, I'm a medical student, and I really give my mom credit for that because she told me you can be anything you want in life except a daddy. I knew I was smart. I was good at what I was good at, horrible at geography and history and English, didn't really care for. So again, I followed what I was good at. And I think when I was 14, my very first swimming instructor job, it was Mike Aquatic Swim School in Toronto. And there was a couple of mottos that I'm still using today. And one is, nothing succeeds like success. Now, I know that totally goes against what Hannah just said, that if you fail, you learn more. Actually, I agree with that. If I've ever failed, which hasn't been very often, it's very humbling and you try harder. But if you're doing really well, like say you know you're good at math and you do really well, you like to do those courses. And I think I pursued what I was good at. And because I was good at it, I liked it because I excelled. So that's one thing. And if you're successful, you're going to want to keep on trying versus like with me, I really didn't care for geography and history and I didn't do that well and whatever. Thankfully, I didn't have to keep that up. But the other motto from Mike Aquatic Swim School when I was 14 is, I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, I understand. And that not only goes for learning swimming strokes, but it learns for going through the motions. And it really can be applied to learning stuff in school. Like say you're doing a science project. I remember when I was dissecting a frog for the first time in 11th grade, I was so nervous because everybody told me how gross it was. And I was so worried it was going to be awful. And I studied like so hard and I skipped class until the very last one. And when I finally did it, I'm like, oh, this is easy. I'm actually good at it. Like, why was I so scared? So again, going through the motions and learning as you go by trying new things, regardless of whether it's something you're good at or not, is key. And again, I mentioned for people who inspired me, I'm lucky enough to have met my husband in college when I was 20 or 21, and we've been married now for 24 years. He has been with me through undergrad, master's, my parents divorcing, we got married, medical school. I didn't match to University of Toronto plastic surgery, which for me was a failure. I had to go to Winnipeg. Where the hell is Winnipeg? It's north of Fargo. It was awful. I was like devastated, but somebody pulled me aside. One of the anesthesiologists is like, Karen, this is the best thing that could ever happen to you because you didn't get exactly what you wanted. And I'm like, I don't want to go. And just trust me. And I agree. Leaving my home, leaving my safety net of the academic community in Toronto opened up my eyes to doing different stuff. And now I'm in San Francisco. That wasn't part of my plan, but trying new things and having the support of my husband, who now he's given up his career 3 times. He's a stay-at-home dad. We have 9-year-old twin girls at St. Patrick's School in Larkspur, and he is my #1 supporter. And no matter what the challenge is, he has been so supportive. He's like, babe, I know you can do it. I know you're smart. And just having somebody who believes in you no matter what, but it's also someone who I can turn to if I'm stuck. Like, I don't know what to do in this professional conflict, or, I have this dilemma and, whatever interpersonal thing. And it's good to have someone to talk to who, has your back 100%.
See, that's why I asked Karen, because she's always more exciting than me. See, I'm as simple. I always loved, the only movie I loved is the Spies movie. Seriously, it's exciting. There's always something. It's kind of like a problem solving, kind of like a puzzle, right? You have like, I watch a show or a movie and I have to figure out the entire, like what's going to happen next. What is the ending? I'm like Sheldon, if you ever watched like Big Bang Theory. I will watch the entire thing over the whole 24 hours because I want to see if my prediction was right. So it wasn't like it's like hard for me to know that I need to be in the cybersecurity. It's just what's created for me. It's my passion. It's what's I love. And even when I was interviewing people, I never interviewed based on college or master's degree or PhD. I always put all these puzzles on the wall, and Kristy knows that. And I will interview someone. I will ask the questions, leave the room, and they have all the answers. All what they need is look around. And Kristy's sitting and she will do this to them. It's like right there, but they won't get it. And if they did not solve the problem I give them, they will not get the job, no matter how qualified they are on paper. Because I always say cybersecurity, if you cannot be a good spy, you're not gonna be good. So that's what is easy really to know if cybersecurity is for you. If you like solving problems, if you get excited about puzzles, that's definitely will. Who is my motivation? My dad was, and like my dad and my mom definitely. I'm very grateful. And exactly what Karen said, I met my husband when I came to the US 6 months after when I was here. We got married 8 weeks after when we met, I know. We've been for 24 years almost. And we always say we never get in fight. Now, before I used to say, because I did not know how to speak English, I learned English in 40 days. But after a while, he got me, he will say, I say, oh, I did not understand you, it's my English. And he's like, time out, you speak English better than me. So I couldn't really run with this excuse anymore. But he's amazing. He helped me through my these 24 years. It was really hard because if you get into technology, you will face it. Women, they're always in the back. You really have to fight your way. You have to grab it. You can't be shy. You have to grab it. You can't wait for someone to hand it off for you. And Kristy knows me very well. I was very, very strong personality, but it didn't happen overnight. It's just my husband really helped me a lot through that. My first few years, it was devastating with the way how women they treated. Like my husband and I work for the same company because he's also in cybersecurity. They paid him more than me. It was like really weird. The same job, he was getting paid more than me. He got the promotion, I don't get the promotion. It was constant fight. So I made it my goal to fight for women, and I'm a big activist for women, and Kristy knows that. And I call leaders up in the conference, and I say, you don't help women. It's not, I don't want to be helped. I want to help other women. So by the way, if you're really, really interested in getting into cybersecurity and you need an internship or any sponsorship, let me know, okay? I'm really here to help you. So now I'm off. Now for Kristy.
Well, who inspired me? Of course, definitely my mom. She always say you have to be independent, meaning you cannot depend on anyone for anything. So be independent, strong woman, especially in this dominated world, man-dominated world. So yeah, as far as in life, yeah, I go by that motto that my mom says. So as far as who inspired me to become in cybersecurity, pretty much like hackers, right? I'm just so fascinated and very intrigued by their sophisticated hacking skills. So yeah, that's part of the reason that I wanted to get into cybersecurity, and also as well as having Hannah as a mentor. I learned a lot from her. She had mentioned that, in technology, it's very male-dominated world. So women have to have voice. You have to speak, be assertive in meetings, and, you just have to speak. Otherwise, they'll just push you to the corner. So that's what I learned a lot from Hannah in that aspect of you just have to be strong and just get back up when they knock you down. So that's what I learned. And she inspired me every day when I was working with her. I learned a lot from her in that kind of situation.
So one thing you'll be in a meeting and especially I used to work only with guys. So I'm the only leader in this room and the rest are guys. And then one of them will turn and it's hey, can you take notes? That's first time I was in a meeting, it's what? It's and so my response was, why? Is your finger broken? And so the HR came like, you can't say that. I'm like, well, he can say that too. The point is you really, sometimes you just don't take no or let people push you into the corner. You stronger what you think. I'm like totally like a foreigner, right? It's like my English really like, I'm still, it's not good, but imagine back in 2000, it was really bad. So I'm sure you will do better than me, guys.
What do you do? What do you do if you get pushback? Because I've dealt with that as well in the surgical community. For the longest time, I was the only woman surgeon who brought patients to 1 or 2 hospitals that I go to. And I make sure that I'm very involved. I go to every department meeting, you know, I stay active. But same thing, if I have an idea, sometimes people talk over. How do you deal with getting pushback if they call you a bitch, or, you know, you're being difficult, versus if it was a male surgeon, they would be being assertive and a leader? How do you deal with that?
That was my nickname. And I was very proud of it, because I always said, you don't get that nickname that easily. You work really hard to get it. And I wasn't shy. I did not care about what they think of me. And Kristy knows. It's like half the company was scared of me because I was strong. I had my voice, and nothing will stop me.
My voice was louder than everyone, so that helps.
Like, you know, the small dogs, but that was me.
Chihuahua.
I'm scared to go to your office. I don't know if I could get that puzzle.
Well, and that's a great point, Dr. Horton, that you bring up, is that unfortunately, women in positions of authority or power are seen a lot differently in the workforce. And how can we alter that perspective to, I am assertive, I'm not bossy, you know, I'm not a bitch, I'm not the B word. I am who I am, and I am getting stuff done just the same as my male counterparts are. And that is a constant theme that we have in these discussions, is this kind of stigma or stereotype that because I am a woman, I'm not as, and we've even had speakers say, I was told I wasn't smart enough because I was a woman. So, you know, that's definitely the whole point of why we do these events, is to show our younger generations that no, that's not the case. You know, we have extremely bright women in positions of power that are doing amazing things and are kicking ass and taking names. So, you know, I'm thankful that you brought that up, because it is something we need to start teaching our younger generations, that it's okay to be assertive, and it is okay to speak up, and it is absolutely 100% okay to be the smartest one in the room if that's the case.
We need them. We need these new young generation, especially the young girls, the young women, is to go through that, not to just accept like, well, okay, the easy job, the one I will not have that challenge is this type of like 1, 2, 3. No, you can get any job you want if that's your passion, and you can do it, because you know what, we are here. And look at us. I mean, Kristy, as she wasn't born in the US. I mean, I get people, they speak to me Spanish because they think I'm Mexican, which I have nothing wrong with that. I just don't speak Spanish, because it's like, right, so you have all these people who they're judging you based on who, like, just the picture, like the outside cover, but it did not stop me. Don't let people really stop you just because the way how they look at you or they think of you. That's all what I can say. You're really capable of doing a lot, and we need you. We need you, because when you make it, you're gonna help another. That's the whole idea. It's a circle, right? We help you, you help others.
I agree with that. And I think I've been in practice for 14, almost 15 years now. And I've kind of made my own way. Like, I'm wearing scrubs today just because of COVID. But normally when I'm in the office, I wear a dress and high heels. I don't wear a white coat. You know, my hair is down today. It's often up when I'm, you know, doing surgery. But I'm not the stereotype surgeon. And I think back in the 70s and 80s, many women surgeons try to act like men and be, you know, extra tough and, you know, take on a male personality. And, you know, we're not men. Thankfully, I have a really good network of other women plastic surgeons. We're very connected on Facebook, and it's a real sisterhood. And I feel like you really need to find people, whatever your thing is, whether you have a hobby right now, whether you're into sports, whether you have something you're really passionate about, is finding other like-minded people. And it's great as a surgeon that there's other women surgeons, because you really should be true to yourself. And if you want to have purple rainbow hair or a mohawk and that's your personality, do it. People can get over it. You don't need to conform. I have one other funny story I'll share with you. I was preparing for my board exams, and they have these board preparation courses. Before you become board certified, you have to do a written exam and then an oral exam. So I was at this preparation course, and the lady was up on stage. She's been doing it for like 25 years, and she singles me out. She's like, "You, honey, blondie, stand up." So I stand up, and she's like, and at the time, it was a couple of years ago, I now wear reading glasses, but she's like, "Okay, you're too pretty. You definitely don't want to have your hair down. Go get some fake glasses because you look smarter, and wear a dark blue suit. Try to look masculine." And I'm like, oh, and it's funny because I knew a lot of people in the audience, they know that's totally not my style. So I'm just like, okay. She's like, "Promise me you're going to do it." I'm like, "Yeah, all right." So when I showed up for my board exams, I curled my hair. She said, "Don't wear a lot of, jewelry." I wore a dangly necklace. I wore dangly earrings and a light pink dress.
Yes.
It was great. And I'm
So
like,
much yes.
I'm going to be me. And the funny thing is I knew all the examiners anyway. So like, "Karen, it's so nice to not see a blue suit." I'm like, "I know, right?"
I love you talked about the high heel. The high heel is really great. I always go, Kristy knows that. I go with really, really high heel, because when I talk to the guys, I talk to them like I'm looking down. And it's like, because it wasn't about like manipulating them or anything, but it really bring your, like, I'm proud to be, a female, and you bring your feminine into it. So it was really cool.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you're all touching on the whole concept that we have seen in these events of the imposter syndrome. Women have the imposter syndrome when they walk into a room full of men and think that they're not qualified to be there. So we've got to get that out of our heads, girls, and these ladies are the ones that are going to help do that and shape that. So
does everyone know what imposter syndrome is? Anybody not know? Just do like a thumbs up that if you don't know what it is under reactions. I'm just curious. I only learned about that like a couple years ago.
It's a relatively new thing too, but
I don't know what it is. Kristy, do you know what imposter syndrome is?
go ahead and give them the definition.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Oh, me? I don't know. I just heard of it right now, but I can guess from the word. So
my understanding is imposter syndrome is when it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, but you feel like, "Oh my God, if anybody finds me out, I shouldn't really be here. I don't know as much, and I'm not trained, and how they made a mistake asking me to be part of this community or up on stage." And I remember I was in practice for 5 months, and I was asked to give like a keynote talk at the California Society of Plastic Surgeons meeting, and I honestly thought they made a mistake. And I got up on stage and I'm like, "Hi, Karen Horton, nobody knows me. I've only been in practice for 5 months." And somebody yelled from the back of the room, "But you're a microsurgeon and you know all this stuff and we've never learned about that." And I'm like, "Seriously?" They're like, "Yeah, we want to learn from you. Like, new grads know more than we do." It's the old guys in the back. I'm like, "Okay, thank you." But I felt like, oh, they must have made a mistake. Well, now I've been around for a while and I give lectures all the time. But you have to remember it's like I give talks at meetings, when you're up on stage, you are so prepared. You're giving a presentation, doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes or an hour, you know way more about it than anybody else in the audience. And people are still gonna ask stupid questions, and there's not a lot of gotcha, like, "Oh, let me ask you about this." But just being honest and knowing that they asked you for a reason, and of course you deserve to be there.
Yes, absolutely. You're a great example too of it. It's the feeling that you don't belong, and that somebody's going to find that out and call you out on it. And so it's a really great way to mess with your head and to kind of perpetuate the cycle that you're not supposed to be there. But the reality is you are, and that's the best part about it. And clearly other people think you are too. So it's really something that we do definitely need to break in our younger generations. I do want to be cautious of time because we have about 10 minutes, but I have a couple more questions that I'm hoping that we can get through. And the one of the ones that I really want to touch on is, what are you three most proud of professionally or personally, in your accomplishments, in your career, in your journey to getting to where you are? What are the things that you are most proud of what you've done?
I'll go. First, I'm very proud of my son. I always say you need a certification to have kids, and I cannot be certified. But I guess God knew this one. So he got me like the best kid ever anyone can wish for. So I'm proud of him, not proud of me, because I can't take any credit for what I use. But I'm really proud of all the women I was able to be part of their journeys, and I can't count them. And they're all so successful. And tomorrow we have an event, this ISC Square. It's an international organization for cybersecurity. So I have a chapter just for North Bay, and we have an event tomorrow, and there's so many women. And any type, like, if it's a transgender or whatever you want to call, and they're all successful. Even I had a couple, they were an intern from college, and now they're doing amazing. They got a job at Amazon, at AWS, and they're still students, and they're paying them full salary, basically. So that's, as long as I can have, like, helping more women to get what they want and be really strong in this community, that's the only thing I really care about. That's the only passion I have, and I'm very proud of it.
I'll show you. I'm proud of getting this mask today. Check it out. Can you see what it is? It's boobs. This is the best mask ever, because I do a lot of breast surgery, but honestly, little things like this, I think I mentioned it before, helping people every single day in such a unique way that is so personal. It's for a very short period of time. Like when I see a patient, I see them once for consultation, once for pre-op, I do their surgery, several follow-ups, and then if they're doing well, I may not see them again, but knowing that I help them in such an important way that you can't describe it other than I get so much out of it as well. And little things like this will be on Instagram later on. And one other thing, educating. If you're not, I want everyone to look up my website. You just Google Dr. Karen Horton, that's my website. I'm sharing my experience being a plastic surgery patient last year. I had a plastic surgery procedure. I'm telling the world about it. I'm writing a 10-part blog series and educating and giving back, because surgery's not for everyone. Hopefully you never need to have surgery. If you ever want to have surgery, it's good to know everything there is to know about it. But little things like this, like getting thank yous from my patients, means more than anything.
Absolutely. Kristy, what about you?
Oh, okay. So basically, very proud of the, I'm able to mentor the, like it shows in the slide, they're able to talk in front of the girls who code. It gives them the, impression that anyone can become and have a change of career, and ended up in the career that you love, which is in technology. From my background, share a little bit with them, and then I use sometimes, you get emails from them and questions about asking how do I go about it, and I'm able to share that with these young girls, one of the proudest moment. So I will have to say that, to giving back.
That's great. I want to, if anybody does have questions that they want to type into the chat window, go ahead and start doing that. We did have one in there that I know Karen responded to, about how do you guys juggle in college, when you're in college, how do you juggle college life and kind of still having a social life? Was there any challenges that you found there?
Oh, I mean, I didn't have any because I wasn't worried about a study. And please don't make me your role model when I was in college, because all what I care about is having fun. And I have my niece who she's studying actually computer science. And I constantly tell her, don't spend too much time studying. That time from you are 16 to 24, it comes only one time. You will graduate and don't worry, you'll be successful. I spent all my college, I was partying, seriously. I was like, always look back, like, I'm so grateful I did this because you live only one time. So don't take it from me. This is why I can be a role model during the college.
So what Hannah's saying, ladies and gentlemen, is balance. Balance it.
I didn't even balance, that's the problem.
She's saying balance.
But once after you are 25, you can pink me, then I can be your role model. But before that, definitely not. Let Karen talk about this. I'm out of it.
I answered in the chat, but I think, well, I don't need as much sleep as some people. I used to be fine on like 4.5 or 5 hours. Now I need at least 6. But you know, there's a saying, the busier you are, the more productive you'll be. And if you know you only have like 2 hours to get an assignment done, you'll do it. Also, I'm not a procrastinator and I am very social. And I bartended and waitress 3-4 nights a week starting when I was 19. You can do that in Ontario, in Canada, when you're 19. And I even waitressed and bartended through medical school. And I liked it because it was social. It allowed me to, be out and interact. All my friends would come to the bar where I was hanging out. And I felt like I was part of it, but I was being productive and I wouldn't get drunk and I wasn't hungover. And, at the end of your shift, you could have a couple cocktails and I got a little piece of it. But I think it's choices. Yes, it's balance, but it's choices. I miss, like, Seinfeld was on every Thursday night, starting from the time I was an undergrad till whenever they took it off the air. I've only seen like 3 Seinfeld episodes, and same thing with Friends. Like, do I really feel like I missed out? No. Like, and again, it was before DVRs. If I really wanted to, I could watch them all now. But again, choices. What was important to me at the time? And I was very social. I wasn't a huge partier in terms of, drinking and that type of stuff. But having connections, feeling like you're getting everything out of the college years was really important. So you can do it your own way, whatever that is.
You brought a very good point talking about the only thing I've never done is really, I never did something like drinking or I've never even seen drugs in my life because I always wanted to be in control. It wasn't because I'm afraid of my dad or my mom, but I always wanted to be in control. I will not let anything take that control away from me. But again, Karen said very good things. It's really choice. You make your own choice in life and you can go anywhere you want.
Awesome. Kristy, anything to add on that?
Well, I went to Davis, so it's like a quarterly system and it moved really fast. So I'm like always up, caffeine, like, trying to get my lab turned in before the due date and all these stuff. And basically, yeah, I also worked during like my whole life, my whole time in college. So my supervisor was understanding. So I'd be pinging them in like 3 a.m. in the morning, say, hey, I'm not going to make it to work, so like I have to do this and that. So, but I definitely party too. It's college. Hey, come on. So you need to, enjoy it. But also, like everyone said, you make a choice. So yeah, but you do have to enjoy it. Give us some, like, your social time on the side. Otherwise you would just go crazy for sure. Especially taking a bioscience, like engineering courses and bioscience courses. It's not easy, I have to say. So enjoy your college year. The first 2 years is all the prereqs. So go ahead, go join some fraternity, sorority, see what fits you out there. So definitely enjoy your college life. Yeah. I had a good time. So.
I see my friend Valerie just logged on. She has a 9-year-old daughter in class with my daughters. Hi, Valerie. And one other thing I'm going to add, I know that we're running short on time, is that you need to figure out what recharges you. Whatever your sanctity is. For me in college, that was going for a run. Now it's exercising. And I think practicing self-care, for me, I get up early before my family. I exercise for an hour every morning. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but that's my sanctity. Because at the end of the day, when I get home, I'm exhausted. I want to see my family and I'm hungry. And then it's like 2 hours later, it's time to go to bed. So finding out what recharges you, whether that's reading a book or music or exercise, and taking 30 minutes up to an hour every single day to do that for you. Because if you never take time for yourself and do what recharges you, you're going to be miserable and you'll be ineffective at work and at school.
And that brings me to my last question. You kind of hit it right on the head there. Is what would be that advice that you would give our audience today of, you know, if they have this interest, if they have passions, even if it's not in science and engineering, what can they do to kind of bring back that kind of center and balance and sanity for themselves? And what pieces of advice would you offer?
Believe in yourself 100%, and don't ever let anyone put you down, because you are capable. You have no idea what you're capable of, seriously. And once, like in 10 years, you will look back and you say that woman, we can't remember her name, was on the stem, and she said that you're capable of doing a lot. So just believe in yourself every single day, every single second. That's the only advice I will give you, and you'll get everything you want.
Yeah, definitely dive in with both feet and don't look back. You're going to make mistakes, but take away that positive and don't dwell on the negative. So basically, yeah.
I'll share one last story quick. I was applying for medical school. Oh no, sorry. I was applying for residency. I was finishing medical school and I had to write like a self letter basically saying why I'm so great and why I should be accepted to become a plastic surgeon in your training program. And I was practicing for my interview, and I have a friend who's a plastic surgeon in Montreal. She's a couple years ahead of me, and she did a mock interview with me, and she asked me questions like, okay, sell yourself. What are your top 3 traits, blah, blah, blah. And she listened to me. She's like, Karen, that was horrible. I would not accept you into my residency training program. I was, oh, it's awful. She's like, can I help you? I said, please. I don't know what to say. She said, let me tell you about my friend Karen. I'm going to tell you about my friend Karen and why she's going to make an amazing plastic surgeon. These are her top 3 traits. This is what I've witnessed her do. These are her strengths. And she said, all you need to do is talk about yourself as if your best friend was talking about you or somebody who admired you. And I was like, oh, I was crying. I was like, I can't believe I just said that about me. She's like, get over it. That's what you need to say about yourself. And if you need help, interview me, interview Mike, your husband, interview people who think that you're great, because you need to believe that about yourself, and you need to say it not in a conceited way, but you need to bring it into conversation. Did you know? Oh, I'm also an artist and I also do this and blah, 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 and work it into the conversation. And so I think if you're feeling really down about yourself or you need help writing a letter for college admissions or high school admissions or a job interview, and as long as you don't have to do that crazy thing on the wall at Hannah's office, which I couldn't do, have people tell you why you're so great. And sometimes it's easier to write it down, because that's really how amazing you are.
Love that. And I love that is the way that we will end this evening. You know, remind yourselves how amazing you are. And I just wanted to say thank you to Hannah, Kristy, and Karen for taking the time today. If anybody is interested in reaching out to these women personally, please, you can email me at jlutz, Lutz, at nusd.org. Karen has put in her information. Hannah is putting in hers. Kristy is putting in hers as well. We will get you guys connected. If there's any other additional questions you have, please don't hesitate to reach out. Ladies, again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart so much for joining us, for being my guinea pigs for this. It's been wonderful. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm so thankful for all 3 of you. I'm thankful for everybody who attended tonight. Wonderful performances. Yes, I mean, claps all around. Yeah.
And please reach out if you saw the picture that Kristy had with the girls who code. Those girls, they were in the 8th grade, and now all of them, they have really, really great jobs.
Wonderful.
We help them with their LinkedIn, we help them in their resume, we help them through the entire there until they get to college, and while they're in college, they get internship. So we are here for you. Please, please reach out.
Wonderful. Again, ladies, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. And I look forward to following up with all of you guys soon. Take care and stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.